Ladies and gentlemen, button pushers and registrators, welcome to another episode of Something's Broken. My name is Tayler Goodyear, and I own TG CNC Service out of Wisconsin. Man, we had a lot of good, positive repairs this last week. I was very pleased with the success that we had in some repairs. Monday, both myself and my contractor were at the same customer. The customer has a positron chucking system on one of their lathes. This is a very expensive option, though I'm told. I never really had too much experience with positron, so this was all kind of new. But anyways, one of the cam bolts that releases was stuck, and they could not get it undone. We busted Allen wrenches. The customer busted Allen wrenches. They could not get it to release, so they couldn't get the chuck off. Well, they hired us, me and my contractor, to come in and drill this thing out. And you want to talk about fucking nerve-wracking, man. It was nerve-wracking. I gave the job to my contractor because they also had a Doosan lathe that had a pretty nasty crash. So I figured we would tag team the customer. Contractor would drill out the positron, and then I would align the turret because we had a really busy week schedule-wise. So I only scheduled there for one day, so we had to get everything done in one day. And man, it was fucking nerve-wracking. We had to align. I have a magnet drill, a pretty nice DeWalt magnet drill that I bought for another job, didn't end up using, so never used it. Planned on using it for something else, but didn't have to use it. So the customer hired us to come in and do this positron. So we really didn't have any fucking room in this machine to set up the magnet drill. Either the drills were too long or the drill was in the way, didn't have enough stroke. We just kept running into problems. So the way we set this up, the customer made us basically a boring bar. And we stuck it in one of the holders of the turret, and then we mounted one of the leveling plates onto it, and then that's what we set the drill to. The way we aligned it, we basically put a drill in, because if we tried to do it straight up and down, we ran out of stroke, or the drills were too long. If we indicated it, the angle, because it's 120 degrees, through basically 3 pies. Just imagine three slices of pie, right? Well, the slots of the chuck line up with the positron cam bolt. So if we indicated the chuck slot parallel to x-axis parallelism, that put the positron at about 60 degrees, right? Well, we ran into a little issue. We couldn't get the angle of the drill setup parallel to the cam bolt. And, man, we were working with, like, thousands of wall thickness of this cam bolt that we had to get down to in order to get it to release. So we found this offset angle. It was roughly like 35 degrees, 25 degrees, somewhere in there. We didn't really measure it off angle, and that was kind of like the sweet spot where we could set the magnet drill. And then we basically just kind of eyeballed the drill bit to the slot of the chuck, and measured basically both sides to get us kind of parallel with the cam bolt parallel. So once contractor got that set up, I was very impressed by how he got it aligned and set up and whatnot, and I told him 100 times, don't fuck this up. This is a $28,000 option. If you cut any bit into that cam bolt, not the cam bolt, but the actual slot that the cam bolt goes into, this system is fucked. So no pressure. No pressure. But dude, he did a fucking amazing job, dude. I mean, amazing job. I was very impressed with what he did and how he did it, and it came out great. We got the fucking cam bolt out. We got it to release. We got the chucking system off. I mean, it without even cutting. I mean, the wall thickness that he had left over after he got the majority of it out, I think was like 30 thousandths each side, 40, 50,000, something like that. So we didn't. It was tight. That one puckered up my ball. that one. Man, I think we were all on edge. And then the owner was out on the floor watching us, and like, dude, there was so much fucking pressure. But that dude did a fucking amazing job, man. I was very impressed. So probably get a raise from that. I'm not gonna lie. But so we got that off. I got the Doosan turret knocked out. I had to come in the next day to calibrate presetter on that Doosan, and then the customer also asked me to do a presetter on another Doosan, so we just knocked those out really quick. But yeah, it was awesome, man. It was funny, man. We were grilling each other. I mean, it was a good time, man. It was very successful. I love jobs like that. I mean, it's great. Everybody walks away happy, and contractor gets stroked a little bit. So we all win, man. Tuesday, contractor and I were in at another customer. We had several issues going on in there. I had to work on a fan alarm on a FANUC drive on an Akuma V80 vertical lathe. That was easy. I just had to swap the fan out. It wasn't that bad. Just pull the drive out, swap the fan, put it back in, while keeping the battery circuit connected, if you can, and the encoder. That way you don't lose any of the positions. But that was good. Did that. They have this old fucking piece of shit, like ID OD / grinder, man. A FANUC. It's got an 18T TB fucking control on it, man. FANUC control, and this thing's so old, and it's just a fucking piece of shit. But they've been down and out on it because the CPU unit basically died on it. We found out that the CPU unit is obsolete from FANUC themselves, so we had to locate another one, and the drive unit itself was able to clear some alarms when we swapped that out, but then we were getting a DRAM alarm. If you guys know anything about the CPU units on these FANUC drives, if you pull the card out, they've got several cards on the inside. Well, one of them is the DRAM card. So I pulled that out. Well, it turns out the DRAM card is also obsolete and can't get one from FANUC. We called around to some suppliers, third-party independents. We found an independent that we can actually just send the entire fucking drive unit to, and they can test it, and then they'll repair it from there. So we were just like, all right, we don't want to deal with it. Fucking send it there. So customer sent it there, so we'll maybe hopefully hear in a week or so, what the verdict on that is. And then we had to assist maintenance with swapping out a belt on a chip conveyor for a smart NL 3000 lathe. So a pretty good sized chip conveyor. It was actually pretty cool how we did it. I thought we were going to have to pull the whole thing out because my experience in the past replacing them, they get locked up, and that's usually how they break. And then you can't get them out by pulling the belt out. You have to completely disassemble it, and that's how you basically almost cut the belt out. In this case, the belt was movable, so the maintenance had a pretty good idea, and I was like, dude, that's a good idea, but there's a 50-50 chance we'll lose it inside of the chip conveyor. But it all worked out great. So we took the old belt, we split it. We took some of the old pins and basically connected the new belt, and then we just drove the old belt out, and it pulled the new belt in. We didn't get locked up, which, that was really good. Didn't get locked up, and then contractor went ahead and welded up some safety pins to make sure that they, don't shear off or anything like that. Reconnected the belt. So that was great. Everything turned out great there. Customer was happy, and we got that lathe back up and running and pushing chips out successfully. So Wednesday, I had some shit outside of work that I had to take care of, so I didn't have anything scheduled. Thursday, in at a new customer, I had to. We've known about a fan alarm on one of their Mazak lathes. It's an A6 alarm. I just didn't know what drive it was on. So I was finally able to get some time to actually get in there and get that taken care of for him. And it was on, I think, the Y-axis drive. So same shit. You pull the drive out, keep the battery circuit connected, and then you know, with those you can clean them if they seem like they're very dirty, and then put them back in, which is the case for me. I was able to clean them, put it back in. Battery, fan alarm went away, which is an A6 alarm flashing on the drive, by the way. Before I went to go leave that customer, they come up to me like, "Hey, you want to take a look at these other alarms on these machines?" I was like, "Wait, what?" I was only told about one issue there, and like, "No, we got a couple more." I was like, "All right, that's cool." One of them is a cross-check error. I can't find any info on. It's on a VTC. More than likely, we're gonna have to push that off to the OEM. Just is what it is on that one. I even hit up all my Mazak reps, and nobody's ever seen that fucking alarm. So I was like, all right, well, they're still able to run the machine. The machine's not down. It's a very intermittent alarm. I mean, very intermittent. So they just got to kind of play with that and get the OEM in there. But the OEM's going to be like, hey, we can't fix a problem that's not going on. So we can just guess if the alarm's not active. So they had another vertical mill right across from it that was getting an intermittent tool clamp alarm. So I pulled the covers off. It was kind of dirty, the clamping sensor, and I just cleaned it up, cleaned the sensing surface and whatnot. Again, a very intermittent alarm. It wasn't happening consistently. The switch looked good. The end wasn't all blown out on it or anything like that. It didn't look like it was rubbing on anything. So that ruled basically that the switch is okay for the most part, functioning just fine. Wiggled the cable, see if there's like any kind of like intermittent short, with the Z-axis traveling up and down. Sometimes you can get short in cables and stuff like that. I didn't see anything. I didn't see no flicker, nothing like that. So clean that up, put the covers back on, told the customer just keep me informed, let me know what happens. If anything, we'll just replace the switch and the cabling outright. It's just a little proc switch, so no issues there. Friday, oh man, there's only a couple of things that I absolutely hate working on CNCs. That's, some of you might already have heard me say this. That's hydraulic indexing, and the other one is solder turrets. And if anybody's worked on solder turrets, you know that they are over-engineered fucking shit, dude. I hate working on solder turrets. And lucky for me, I have a customer in my network that has a Kia lathe with a solder turret on it. And guess who they call when something backs up? Me, unfortunately. So the customer is having some positioning issues going on in the Y-axis. Don't really know why this happened, but it's what I noticed. On FANUC offsets, you have an EXT and then G54, G55, G56, so on and so forth. They had offsets in the extended offset, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't really ever see anybody use the extended offset. G54, 55, 56, everything that we know, that's common. Well, they kept wondering why their Y-axis was off and they couldn't get it right. Well, you have an offset in the extended positioning of 18 thousandths. And guess how much it was off? 18 thousandths. And they're like, why the fuck is this happening? Well, extended offset stacks off of tool geometry and machine geometry. So you're basically fighting three different geometries when you put an offset in the extended of it, and that's permanent. It's not like calling up G54 and then canceling it and then it's all back to regular machine data. So cleared all those out. I did double check Y-axis. I had to adjust the grid shift just a little bit, but once I cleared those out, Hey, no issues. Mechanically, everything was repeating, no problem. So I let the customer know, like, I don't know who's throwing offsets in here, but don't do that. Don't do that unless you're like finding something for any particular reason, and then get rid of it. Like as soon as you get ready to run off a G54, 55, 56, and if it's a lathe, I mean, you should only be using G54 anyways, for the most part, for single spindles. At least with my experience and what I've seen customers do. So. Well, I thought that was it, and then the customer goes, "Oh, hey, by the way, the coolant doesn't come out." I'm like, "Okay, you told me this now." Now, mind you, I am scheduled to fly to Houston on Monday to start installing those machines from Florida. Well, I am like time crunching on this thing, so and the when I turned the coolant on and I checked the ports and everything and I followed it up, and sure enough it stops at the turret. So I was like, well, the only way that I can get inside to the plunger is disassemble the fucking turret, man. And I hate doing it. It's got this live tool motor inside that fucking sucks. There's a seal in there. If anybody's taken these apart, there's a seal in there, and it's a 50-50 chance that you'll ruin that seal when you put that fucking live tool motor back in. It sucks, man. And it's not a cheap seal either. It's like almost $200 seal, and it's just a little ring, man. And it fucking sucks, and I hate it. Anyways, I had to tear it all the ways down. I pulled the plunger out, and sure enough, the plunger is fucking completely just caked with, I don't know what it was. But yeah, there was no coolant coming out. So once I did that, I hurry up, turn the machine on, tested coolant, boom, fucking coolant comes out. I was like, all right, got it. Put it all back together. I did not ruin the seal. Putting the live tooling motor back in. So thank you. And put everything back together, tested everything. Everything was great. Just had to double check turret alignment, whatnot. Everything was fine. So customers happy. I don't know how long they haven't been able to run that machine, but from what I understand, it's been a while since they've been able to run that machine. I mean, if coolant dries up and cakes that hard inside of a machine, man, they haven't ran that in a while. So yeah, the machine's back and running. And I'm still on track to fly Monday to Houston, so another positive repair. Yeah, not bad at all. All right, next week, and I think the little bit of the following week, I have 4 machines that I got to install down in Houston. I talked about this on a previous podcast. I went to Florida, packed them up. Well, they're finally at the customer. They're on the shop floor. They're getting power ran to them. These machines have RMS units, so we'll have to have the OEM come in to unlock them. But once we do that, they get the fuck out. I take over, install the rest of it to the rest of the way, and that'll be a pretty straightforward job. I don't think I'm going to really run into any issues. I scheduled a week and a half. I probably won't be there a week. I'll be shocked if I'm there a week. But you never know. They do have one machine that's got a constant alarm on it that I have to dig into, so that's why I kind of scheduled a week and a half. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I might get lucky. I might get the repair on the first try. Who knows? Or I'm stuck for fucking 2-3 days trying to figure it out. Who knows? But yeah, I can't wait to get down there, man. I love those guys down there. But one of my buddies in Houston that used to work for Mazak, it's gonna be awesome to work with him and hang out with him and his family and everybody else, man. And get me some crawfish, dude. Fuck, I can't wait for that. That's going to be a good time, man. All right. Motivation time. Breaking through plateaus. And I might have already kind of talked about this once before, but I like digging back into these same motivational things because it's a lot of it is just the same things over and over and over that you can do. And that's breaking through plateaus. I unfortunately was trying to break through a plateau in the gym, and I ended up tearing my pectoralis minor. Unfortunately, not a major tear. It's minor, but it's definitely there. I was benching and third set, second rep, the fucker popped on me, and yeah, that no bruising or anything like that, but it's definitely there. So I've minor setback. I probably won't be able to bench or do any kind of chest workouts for like the next, I don't know, probably 2 months, something like that. Which, it is what it is, man. Mentally, I've already processed it. Now it's just actually physically healing, keeping it stretched, and making sure that it heals nice and good. So, but breaking through plateaus is so important, and it's not just in the gym or, it could be in school, or it could be with your business, or it could be at your job. Any kind of challenge that you're stuck on and you can't break through to complete the challenge or move on to the next challenge, that's a plateau. You got to be able to break through that. Now, there's different ways, different steps to break through different plateaus. The one that I specifically want to talk about is a plateau in your business. Now, I reached a plateau last year with my business. I reached my ceiling. And if anybody doesn't know what a ceiling is in a company, for me specifically, for my company, it's my hourly rate times 40 hours times 52 weeks in a year. I hit that ceiling. Now, in order to break that ceiling, I've been trying to figure out how to do this since I hit the fucking ceiling. And I took different steps into advertising. I brought on a service contractor to try to pick up more work. I hired a new sales contractor to start pushing sales for me. So I'm trying to figure out ways to break through the ceiling. I started radio ads. I'm testing that out for 6 months, which will end in June. I haven't got really anything from the radio ads, but it's an avenue that I needed to test to see if it could break through the ceiling for me. Because I want to grow the business, but I want to do it slowly and logically so I don't get big too fast, and then I can't keep up. And now I'm losing customers because I can't get there fast enough, which I've already noticed is starting to happen. A couple of customers here and there, a couple of issues I've had to turn away because I just don't have the personnel to do it. And unfortunately, they go to a competitor and hire them because they got the personnel to do it. It happens, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. I want to be the go-to guy for service within like a 100-mile radius of my area. That's my goal. That's my ultimate goal, is to be the service company in a 100-mile radius of where I'm at. But when you're at a plateau, you have to figure out how to break through it, and there's different ways to do it. And even in a gym, and when you go to the gym and you're stuck on the same weight, you're at a plateau, you have to figure out a way to break through it. And I think a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people, they get to that plateau and they're just stuck, man. They're stuck. They don't break through it. They don't try to break through it. They're content with just being right there. And that's it. And that's okay. In some situations, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But from a personal growth aspect, you need to break through that plateau. You have to. If you want to grow and develop into a new person or a new business, you have to break the plateau. And there's, depending on the situation, I can only speak from my standpoint on how I'm trying to break my plateaus. It's not the same for everybody. It's different, in any situation, whatever you're doing. So, just want to harp on, if you're hitting a plateau, there is a way to break through it, and you have to break through it. Otherwise, you won't grow. And growing is the most positive reinforcement of any human. So, thanks, guys, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I probably won't have a podcast next week because I'll be in Houston. But you already know I'm down there installing machines. But I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Sometimes it's boring and there's really not much going on. But it's I really appreciate it, man. I love doing this. This is fun. telling everybody, random people, about what I do on a weekly basis. So really appreciate it. All right, guys. I'm out of here. We'll see you next week. If not next week, the following week. We'll see you guys.